Welcome to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I'm Kendra Woods, your host and a former corporate healthcare executive turned entrepreneur. After battling burnout, I discovered the magic of human design. As a 6'2" splenic projector, I am here to lead you on a journey of self-discovery, self-mastery, and unstoppable growth. So join me as we dive into the world of human design, mindset, energetics, and aligned success. We will talk about the highs and the lows of creating soulful and meaningful success in your life and business on your terms. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I'm excited to be bringing you another amazing conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding the difference between intuition and fear. And this is a topic that I'm really excited to talk about because intuition is something that has always been my guiding light, if you will, has always been my North Star, has always been the thing that I've tapped into and tuned into, even when I didn't realize that I was doing it. And fear has also been a part of my journey most of my life, but really when it showed up a lot when I chose to become an entrepreneur. And I noticed along my journey that there's a subtle difference. Well, not so much subtle anymore, but a subtle difference between intuition and fear. And so I want to share this with you today because what I know is that when we don't understand how this works or understanding the difference and the nuance between the two, as entrepreneurs, we can actually hold ourselves back. We can slow down our journey. We can miss amazing opportunities and not really be walking in our full potential. So I'm excited to be talking with you this week about intuition and fear and understanding the difference. Before we dive into that conversation today, I want to remind you of a couple of things. Number one, the Reader's Path School of Human Design Wisdom is still open for enrollment. So if you are a person who loves human design, you want to integrate human design into your business, you want to understand your unique energetic blueprint and how you can utilize that information to show up at a next level in your business, and you want to be able to support your clients with understanding their design, then you want to be inside of the Reader's Path School. This school is not just about like you adding another like certificate or another like thing to your toolkit. It's really about redefining the way that you are in relationship with yourself, redefining the way that you guide, redefining the way that you connect and transform and impact the lives that you are here to have an impact on. So if you're ready to embrace mastery, you're like, I want to know more about this, you're sick of doing all the Google searches and going to all the master classes, trying to piece all the information together, then we do invite you inside of the school. Myself and my business partner, Michelle Renee, have done a fabulous and phenomenal job with pulling this content together for you, organizing this content in a way that is simple and easy. And we go with you on this journey, right? One of the things that's different about our human design school is that we're not just teaching you human design. We are also taking you deeper into the nuance, and we're also teaching you how to integrate this into your business and also how to embody your design. So we're taking it to the next level. So the link for you to enroll will be in the show notes, so you can check that out. If you need to have a conversation with us and kind of talk some things through, on the invitation page, you'll see a link where you can book a admissions call and we can have a chat. Additionally, I have something exciting that I'll also have just opened the doors to last week. It is my Momentum Voxer coaching. And so this offer is designed specifically for those of you who are ready to like stop overthinking. You're ready to start taking aligned action towards your goals. This is perfect for the visionary woman, right, who's ready to thrive and who knows that she thrives when she has direct support, and you want to maintain your momentum, or you want to start kicking into momentum so that you can end this year strong. So the way that the Momentum Voxer coaching works is that it's month-to-month access. So we'll work together through Voxer. And if you're not familiar with Voxer, it is an app where we can talk back and forth. You can share images, you can text, use text in it as well. And so we will communicate via this app. It is $777 for the month. There's no long-term commitments. This is a month-to-month offer, so you can do this for a month and kind of get yourself revved up and get yourself going and get some clarity and get yourself into alignment. Or you can, choose to do it another month if you want to. So with this offer, I will be available for you Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 Central Standard Time to offer you guidance, support, coaching, motivation, strategy, anything that you need to support yourself in moving forward. So I am going to share again a link to a post that I created on Facebook where you can see and read all the details. I won't go into it here, but I'm super excited about this. And so take a look at that, see if it feels like it's for you. And if it is, I look forward to supporting you in that way. Okay, so let's dive into today's conversation, understanding the difference between intuition and fear. Here's the thing. This is such an important topic. This is such an important conversation because if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you need to understand the difference between the two, how it feels in your body, so that you can, number one, make aligned decisions for yourself. Because as an entrepreneur, you're constantly making decisions that are going to shape your business, that's going to shape your trajectory. Number two, this is important for you because it's going to help you overcome that self-doubt, right? Because fear often masks itself as overthinking or second guessing, which can lead to missed opportunities. The third reason why this conversation is important is because once you understand the difference, it will help you to stay connected to your vision. When you understand how to stay more connected to your intuition than your fear, you'll recognize that intuition actually keeps you aligned with your spiritual calling, with what you're here to be sharing with the world, guiding you more towards expansive growth that's going to take you to the next level, growth that's going to feel exciting and feel good. On the flip side of that, if you're operating in fear, what's going to happen? There's going to be lots of contraction. There's going to be stagnation. And the last reason why this is really important for us to be having this conversation is because when you understand the difference, you can move forward in your life and in your business despite feeling discomfort. And this is a hang up that many entrepreneurs get stuck in, right? And I've been there too. And so many entrepreneurs can mistaken like nervousness or discomfort as a reason to stop. And to be honest, we are, as human beings, we want to stick more to what's comfortable, right? We want to move more towards pleasure and away from pain. But if you're going to get to your next level, if you are going to create the life that you desire, the business that you desire, there's going to come a point where you're going to need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and knowing how to still move through it. Okay. So I want to share a quick story with you. My first experience of really learning how to navigate in my intuition and my fear. So I'm going to take you back to 2016. This was at a point in time when I was still in corporate, but I was at the point where I recognized that I needed to make a change. Something needed to shift. I wasn't happy in the career that I was in. I was completely burned out. Because of this, I was beginning to have physical manifestations of this burnout, like in my body, with my health, with my mental health, and it just wasn't good, right? So I knew that I needed to make a change. And so in 2016, I came across this woman who was, her whole platform was about helping you launch your online business. At the time, I had no idea people were making money online, not in this way anyway. And so long story short, she was advertising that she was having an event in Atlanta. And my parents at the time lived in Atlanta. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go visit them. We'll take the family up there, visit them, and I'll also go to this conference and, see what comes up. And when I got there, I mean, it absolutely blew my mind, right? I was in a space that I had never been in before. I was in a space with hundreds of other entrepreneurial women who had already maybe launched their business or who were in that stage of wanting to launch, and they were really wanting to create something different in their life. And so went through the whole conference. I think I got there on Thursday. The conference was Friday, Saturday, and like a half day Sunday, I believe. And so went through the whole conference and had an amazing time. And of course, at the end, she gave us an offer to step inside of her 6-month mastermind. Now, I had had my mind blown. I had seen a future that was possible for me. I had seen that, like, yes, I could launch my own business. I could be successful at this. And I wanted to be a part of it. Like, I knew in my soul that I had to be in that mastermind. I knew it was time for me to say yes. And I was also scared out of my freaking mind because the investment for this mastermind that she was selling was $10,000 for 6 months. And outside of, traditional education, going to college and things like that, I had never invested that type of money before in my personal growth. And so it was absolutely scary. And no, I did not have like $10,000 like sitting in my bank account somewhere, right? So my intuition knew, like, oh, this is expansive. This feels good. This is an absolute yes. I could feel it in my body pulling me forward. And at the same time, I was having lots of thoughts of like, I don't know if I should do this. Maybe this isn't smart. Maybe I should just stay where I'm at. What if I don't actually get a return on my investment? What if my business doesn't work? Like all of these things. Where am I going to find the money? Oh my gosh, I got to go home and talk to my husband. And what if he gets upset? Like all of these things were moving through my mind, all these fear-based thoughts. And for a little bit, it was overpowering my intuition. But on the drive home, I just let myself be with how I was feeling. On one side, I was excited. It was expansive. I thought, oh my gosh, like my mind was all into the realm of possibilities and what could happen. And I also let myself like feel the fear. But what I noticed on that drive home is that my desire for stepping into this space felt so much stronger and so much more important to me than the fear thoughts that were showing up. And it was in that moment that I recognized that, okay, this may not make practical sense because, yeah, I didn't have $10,000 sitting in the bank. But at the same time, I knew that I wasn't going to know what was on the other side unless I took the step, unless I said yes to myself. And I made a decision in that moment to recognize the fear, but to step out in faith because it felt so much like the right thing to do, even though it was scary. All right. I knew it was time to say yes to myself. And so I've had many other moments in my life, specifically like around investing in myself, where this comes up again, right? I know that I want to make an investment in something and the fear shows up. It's always there, but now I know how to just navigate it in a much quicker way, in a more graceful way, in a way where it's not, dragging me along. So let's talk about this in reference to what this looks like. I talk about human design. You all know that I'm passionate about human design. And so the first place that we have to stop and have a conversation around when we're talking about understanding the difference between fear and intuition is I have to remind you about your authority. Your authority in human design is your guiding light. It is the part of your design that supports you in making decisions that are right for you. And what you need to know about this, and I know you've heard me say this in previous episodes, is that your authority in human design is body-based. And it serves as your decision-making mechanism, okay? So there's different types of authority. There's emotional authority, sacral authority, splenic authority. I'm sure that I have an episode out on my podcast that talks about authority. I'm looking now to see what episode that would be. Oh, here it is. So episode 7, we talk about authority. So go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened to it. If you have, I really want to encourage you to take some time this month to engage with your authority, to really embody your authority, because what we understand and what we know is that decisions are not meant to come from your mind. And this is a part of us that is very conditioned. As human beings, we are conditioned to believe, and we are taught that our decisions need to come from our mind. How many times have you been told, well, go think about it some more, or, do a pros and cons list, or, what's the rational thing to do, or does that make sense? And while I'm not saying that we can't sit and be with a decision that we want to make, what I want you to begin to step into is understanding that it's not about trying to make it make sense in your mind and then making a decision there, because your mind can only give you information based on what it knows. Your authority is here to guide you based on wisdom, and that is completely different. Okay, so the body will give you these intuitive nudges and signals that are very subtle. They're very subtle, but I know that you felt them. If you reflect back on moments where you knew, like you knew, like you knew that you were supposed to make a move, that you needed to go in some certain direction, that you needed to call a person, that you needed to have a conversation, that you needed to invest in something. If you think back on those moments, you just knew, and there was probably a part of you that couldn't really explain it, but you just knew that it was something that you needed to do. Now, your mind, when you're operating from your mind is going to react with fear when faced with uncertainty. And any steps that we are taking to further grow ourselves, there's going to always be a sense of uncertainty, always, because you're stepping into the unknown. Your mind is going to want to know all the things. And this is the biggest hang up for many entrepreneurs, is we get stuck in the mental loop of, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And we get stuck in focusing on things that are irrelevant to the journey instead of taking the step forward. So when we're operating from our authority, it's operating through the body, and your body knows how to discern the difference between intuition and fear. It knows this. And so this is where trusting your gut, this is where trusting your emotional clarity comes into play. This is where, if you're a splenic authority, where your splenic awareness comes into play. So think about that. And if you want to listen to, I did an episode 20, that's called Bridging the Mind-Body Gap, to help you, again, go deeper. We go deeper into this conversation of the gap that happens between the mind and the body, and how that can kind of, when those two are not together, when they're not cohesively working together, how that can cause stagnation, can cause you to feel overwhelmed, bitter, frustrated, angry, or disappointed. Now, when we talk about intuition, let's have a conversation about that for a moment, because what is intuition? Yes, it is body-based, but the way that I describe intuition, and the way most would describe it, is it's a subtle nudge or a quiet whisper. Intuition is not loud. It is not in your face. It is a quiet nudge. It's a quiet confidence. It feels expansive. It feels gentle. It feels aligned. It's not loud, and it's not pushy. And when we really take the time to listen, you will feel this nudge or this whisper guiding you towards something that's aligned with you on your path. It doesn't shout, it's not pushing, but it feels right, even if it's not entirely logical. And this is the piece that I have learned, over my journey, is that, okay, your intuition is not logical. And again, this is where your mind's going to want to come in and try to make sense of it. Your mind's going to want to try to make sense of this direction you're feeling called to. Your mind can't. Your mind cannot make sense of it. So this is where cultivating the ability to trust yourself, to have faith, is so important. And listen, y'all, I know that it's not easy. I'm not saying by any means that it's so easy to trust in the process. I get that, right? If you're like me, there's a part of you that you just want to have control over the journey. And so a part of your biggest lesson, like mine, may be to learn how to release control, to let go, to surrender, to trust. Your intuition is going to open doors and open possibilities. It's going to give you a sense of flow. So again, reflect back. Have you ever had moments in your life where it just felt like things were flowing, where it felt like you were just moving along so smoothly? You weren't, pushing or forcing. You were just taking step after step after step, and it felt good. That is being guided by your intuition. And so you want to begin to recognize intuitive signals for yourself. So I'm a big believer in spending time in solitude, spending time by yourself, spending time away from the energies and beliefs and mental, auras of other people, and being by yourself, quiet, just listening. And this for me is where meditation shows up. When I can just, meditation for me is really just sitting and being with myself and listening. Prayer is me having a conversation with God. And then I look at meditation as, all right, I'm sitting and I'm listening for the guidance. And we really have to build our capacity with this, because so many times we have a dream and we just want to constantly feel like we just got to be moving, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. And we feel like that if we take a moment and stop and listen, that we are somehow missing out, that we're not going to make it. And again, that's the fear mind kicking in. What are you doing stopping? You got to keep going. You got to keep moving. You're not going to make it if you just sit here. That is the fear mind. The more that you can sit with yourself and just be with the discomfort of that fear mind, chattering away, the more you do that, the quieter that fear mind will become. And so when we're looking to tap into our intuition, when you're looking to tap into your authority, you want to spend some time just being quiet, tapping in, tuning in. For example, if you're a splenic authority, your intuition is going to show up and it's going to be instant and fleeting, but it's going to be unmistakable. You are going to know, like, oh, I need to go make this move. Okay. Unmistakable move. But you got to sit with it and be with it and tune into it and recognize it. If you're emotional authority, for you, it's about clarity over time. Okay. So it's not about your intuition is going to come to you over time. It's not going to be something that just bam, like, okay, I got it. You're going to need some time to kind of bring in that emotional clarity for yourself. If you're sacral authority, for example, you're going to get that yes or no gut response, that uh-huh or that uh-uh. You're going to know. But in all of these, and really I believe in all of the authorities in human design, we've got to be tapped in and tuned into our bodies. So I want to share a practical example with you about what this looks like. I had a moment in my coaching journey where I was working with a coach, and I had joined another mastermind. This was a 2-year mastermind. And her philosophy was about building and growing your business by focusing on your one-to-one clients first, and then moving into group coaching. Okay. And that's fine. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I remember being in this container and, she just kept telling me, Kendra, you got to focus on your one-to-one. You have to focus on your one-to-one. But I kept getting this unmistakable nudge that I needed to be promoting and marketing my group program. Now, the fear mind in me was saying things like, okay, you hired this woman, you've invested money in this, you've got to listen to her, you have to do what she says. My fear mind was saying, okay, you need to put that to the side, put your group program to the side and focus on one-to-one, because if you don't do that, you may not be as successful as you want. I chose to listen to my intuition, and I chose to instead say, okay, that's great. Thank you. I will at some point focus on my one-to-one, but right now I want to launch this group program that I've created because I just believe so deeply in it. I'm excited about it. I'm enthusiastic about it, and I want to get it out there. And you know what I did? I did that. And in doing that, I think at the time I had like 3 or 4 women that joined my group program. And that was such a success for me. And it also cultivated and built up my trust muscle in myself to know that, all right, I know I was being told to do one thing, but I listened to my own intuition, to my own instincts, and I did what I felt called to do. And look what happened. And so I bookmarked that experience in. So you get to do the same thing. You get to do the same thing. There's other examples I can share with you where, I have been in rooms with other entrepreneurs who have been considering like investing in a program and a coach to help them with, which help them with their marketing, or to help them with scaling their business, or to help them, get certified in something. And they're so excited about it. They've heard great things about it. Their intuition is telling them, yes, this is your right next step. And yeah, it would be a significant financial investment for them. It feels expansive to them. It feels like the opportunity to help her grow in so many ways that she can't fully see yet. However, I would notice that the fear would creep in, and all of a sudden she would start worrying about how much the program costs, and she would say things like, what if I don't make the money back? Or what if the investment doesn't pay off? And so all those thoughts create contraction. And so because of that contraction, it causes her to focus on worst case scenarios. And we've all done this. You think about the worst thing that will happen. Well, what if I invest my money in this and nothing happens? What if I don't grow? What if I don't make my money back? All the things show up. And so then you begin to then focus on all the things that you can lose rather than all the things you can stand to gain. And so the way that I look at this is, okay, are you playing not to lose, or are you playing to win? Are you doing this thing called life in an energy of trying not to lose, or are you showing up and focusing on winning and succeeding and getting to the next level? So in this particular example, what I want to share with you is, okay, so I want you to imagine, again, this is this entrepreneur wants to invest in something. She feels great about it, feels excited about it, but then all of a sudden the fear mind kicks in and she starts worrying. So what she gets to do in this moment is, despite the fear, she can pause, tune into her body's wisdom, and she can recognize that the fear is driven by financial anxiety. And she can notice that her gut is still telling her and giving her a quiet yes, yes, move forward. So she trusts her intuition and she decides to make the investment, knowing that it's aligned with her long-term vision. So she moves herself forward. The fear is still there, but she moves herself forward. But as a result of her doing that, she's able to unlock new strategies, new ways of thinking, new perspectives, new connections. She's exposed to a whole new different community that opens up her to bringing in new clients, and ultimately her income increases. So that's how I look at anything when I'm making an investment or taking a step. I say, you know what? I know that this feels scary. I know that like my fear mind is just trying to keep me safe, and I can honor that and I can recognize that. And I know that I feel called to take this step, and I'm going to do it because I know that what's on the other side is only going to make me better. It's only going to increase my trust muscle. It's only going to help me increase my faith muscle. It's only going to help me increase um, the distance, or decrease the distance to the goal that I'm looking to get to. So you see how that works? So let's talk about fear for a moment. And I've already shared a good bit about this, but fear is usually loud, forceful, contracting, right? It shows up in you as an urge to stop, to react, to avoid action. And it's driven by your mind's desire to keep you safe, often in a way that makes you feel paralyzed, makes you feel stuck, makes you feel hesitant. Fear also shows up as you overthinking, shows up as doubt. It shows up as, second guessing your decisions. You make a decision, you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. Or you find yourself retreating into familiar patterns. How many times have you worked on a pattern within yourself or a mindset within yourself, and then you find a couple of months later, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going back to the same old thinking pattern or the same old habit. That's because fear has showed up. And for a brief second, you've allowed fear to sit in the driver's seat. Fear can also disguise itself as being practical. It can disguise itself as, well, I just want to be sure. It will show up as procrastination. But its real purpose is to keep you safe in familiar patterns. Your mind likes you being in familiar patterns because it knows what to do with that. When you are outside of your comfort zone and you're doing something different, your mind has to figure out how to adapt to that new thing. And I get it. It's pretty smart if you think about it. It's like, hey, if I'm the brain, I'm like, yeah, we need to keep doing the same thing because I have become really efficient at this. I know how to do it. I don't want you to step out and do this new thing because that means I've got to use more energy and figure out new strategies to help you navigate this new thing. But what I want you to know is that you are capable of navigating the new. You are capable of navigating all the beautiful places that your intuition wants to take you. So understand that, first of all, get really clear in recognizing how fear shows up in your body. Feel the heaviness and the energy that you feel. Feel the constriction that shows up in your body, or that paralyzing energy. Fear shuts down possibility, while intuition, it opens you up to new plans. It opens you up to new possibilities, to new connections, to new dreams, to new experiences. And I don't know about you, but in this life, I want to experience a lot of different things and new things, and grow and see new places and meet new people and just do new things. Now, there is something that we need to distinguish when it comes to fear, because there's fear of the unknown, and there's also having a healthy caution, which is perfectly okay. And what this looks like is maybe you're getting nervous because you're about to, start a new job, or you're about to do a really big launch, or you're feeling nervous because you're going to do a live video for the first time, or you're feeling nervous because, you've invested in yourself in a way like you've never have before, versus sensing genuine danger. And that's where the healthy caution comes in. So what this looks like is maybe you're considering a collaboration with another entrepreneur who's in your industry. You're excited about the potential. But as the time approaches for you and this other person to begin collaborating, fear of the unknown starts creeping in. You're thinking, oh my gosh, like what if this person like takes control of the whole project and I don't get credit? What if I don't get credit for my contributions? What if we don't work well together? So all these things come up, and this fear feels overwhelming, and it's making you maybe second guess yourself about maybe doing this collaboration. And you even consider saying, you know what, I'm just going to back out of this. I'm not going to do it anymore. Think about how many times you've done that, where you have been excited about something, you've made the decision to do it, and then at the last minute, you're like, you know what, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it anymore. Fear. On the other hand, if you are in an energy of, let's say, healthy caution, I'll call it, it's not that you're not going to move forward, but you are going to take the time. For example, in this example of collaboration, you're going to take the time to have the conversation about what your roles are going to be. You're going to set boundaries. You're going to share what your expectations are. Healthy caution is proactive, it's measured, and it ensures that you're setting yourself up for success. So for me, healthy caution is me doing my due diligence. It's the preparation that I need to have in place before I step into the thing that I'm feeling called to do. So there's nothing wrong with healthy caution. What I want to support you with today is stepping through the fear, moving through the fear, because that's the only way to overcome the fear is to move through it. Understand that nervousness isn't always fear. So maybe you're nervous about something or you're anxious about something when you're following through on an intuitive guidance. That's okay. You're going to experience some nervous energy that comes up when you're stepping into a new expansive role. And in my body, when I'm stepping into an expansive role, like it just feels like this tingling, right? I get butterflies in my belly, my heart might race a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, just a little nervous. But that's not fear. It's just nervousness. It's excitement. And what I have found is that nervousness for me, it shows up often when I'm on the right track and it signals growth and expansion. And so I'm learning to embrace nervousness. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Just the other day, I presented a proposal. Me and my business partner did. We presented a proposal to a woman that we currently collaborate with, but we have a proposal for this new way of collaborating. And we presented it to her, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday of this week. I can't remember. And so I did the presentation piece of it, and I was so nervous. But I didn't let that stop me because I recognized that I was nervous because I was stepping into a new thing. I was stepping into the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen with this proposal. We were sharing ideas that we hadn't shared with anyone before. And so it felt nervous, but I took that nervousness and channeled it into my presentation. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're nervous. I think I texted like during the time we were I did the presentation, and I think either my business partner was talking or the woman that we were presenting to was talking, and we're on Zoom, and so I had my phone down and I texted my business partner and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. And so it's just noticing it. It's noticing it. It's not making yourself wrong about it. It's not making yourself feel any kind of way about it. You're just being with it. And the more that you can be with nervousness, the more you can be with the feeling of being uncomfortable, the more you can be with the feeling of feeling awkward, the more you can be with that, you increase your capacity to do bigger and bigger things in your life and in your business. Okay. So here are some things that I want to share with you, like practical tools to help you build confidence in your intuition. I'm really big on journaling, so I'm going to give you 3 journal prompts for you to contemplate. The first one is, when I face a decision in my business, how does my body react when it's intuition guiding me versus when it's fear? The second journal prompt is, think of a time when you followed your intuition despite feeling fear. What was the outcome? And how did trusting the inner knowing impact your growth? So that one was more of a reflection question. And then the third one is, what are you currently feeling nervous about in your business? And how can you tell if this nervousness is a sign of expansion and growth or a sign that you need to reevaluate? You see, we have to take the time to do this reflection work so that we can navigate our journeys in a more authentic and aligned way. If you're just, willy-nilly taking action, doing whatever, you're not checking in with yourself, then over time, you'll look back and go, oh my gosh, how did I get here? How did I get so off track? You have to be checking in with yourself. You have to be reflecting. And this doesn't mean like, oh, I'm gonna sit and think about it. Like, just contemplate it. Just be with it. See what comes up. All right. And so my last reminder to you as you're navigating this on this journey between, fear and intuition is that remember that Following your intuition doesn't mean that there's going to be an absence of fear, because fear is going to always be on the journey with you. But it's just a matter of, are you allowing fear to be in the driver's seat, or are you putting fear in the back seat and you are in the driver's seat? Which one is it? It's about trusting your inner voice and navigating the nervousness, being with the uncomfortable feelings, and still being able to maintain your alignment moving forward. And this is why I know that growth, transformation, evolution, it happens over a lifetime, you guys. This work that we do is not something that you do for a few months. You're like, oh, okay, I'm done. No, you've got to be devoted to this to truly grow and see the change that you desire to see. All right. Okay. Well, that is all for today. Thank you all so much for listening. Remember that the Reader's Path School of Human Design Wisdom is open for enrollment. My Momentum Boxer coaching is also currently open right now. Those are two amazing offers that you can begin to step into if you're wanting to kind of play in my world. The links for all of that will be in the show notes. And I will also put the 3 journaling prompts that I shared in this episode. I will put those also in the show notes so that you can get them quite easily. All right. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I've enjoyed this conversation with you. And until next time, talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Soulful Success by Design. If you enjoyed our conversation and found value in it, please leave a rating and review on iTunes to help me continue bringing more inspiring content your way. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Soulful Success by Design, or visit my website at kendrakWoods.com for extra inspiration and resources. I appreciate you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. Until then, remember to create success from your soul and on your terms.